Alright, Amy's choice is now in my list of hilarious Doctor Who farts. Check this bizarre one out. Beautiful. Okay, so the Doctor talks about, like, what do you do around here to stave off the self-harm? Right, let's take him seriously there, rather than just being like, oh, that was a funny joke. Now, okay, so this Doctor is actively trying to stave off self-harm. They will fall into old cycles of self-harm if they slow down like this. Perhaps that's why in Time of the Doctor was able to stay, because they were constantly battling, constantly coming up with new challenges and stuff, you know? So the Doctor is basically trying to stave off self-harm. This means that the Doctor is at peace when the Doctor is busy. Why is that? That the Doctor, at rest, with nothing to focus on, starts self-harming. They know that they don't do this because it's decent, because it's kind. They don't do it because it's right. They do have ulterior motives. They're addicted to this lifestyle. Alright, so they're like, old people scary, and then Rory's just like, nah, this woman here, I cured her depression, she loves me. Okay, how did you cure her depression, Rory? I don't know, maybe he did. Maybe this is a normal thing that people do, that nurses do. They cure people's depression. Guess it's possible. I guess he's a doctor, not a nurse. You know, the other option is that he's sleeping around and he shagged this old woman. They have had a close and intimate relationship. When he says she loves him, it's because he takes her up the bum every Thursday night, you know? Or something. That's how he cured her depression. You know what? He probably didn't even cure her depression. She's just like, oh, I'm depressed. And he's like, you know what you need? Good cock. Maybe he's just so braggadocious. Look at that face. Does that not look like this sleazy face of a guy who's just so sure about, confident of the power of his cock? That's what this face says to me right now. God, his face looks so different like this, doesn't it? So yeah, maybe this is a side to Rory that we have been missing. Like, we're so focused on Amy's unfaithfulness. What if he's unfaithful too? Like, does it even count as unfaithful when he was an Auton watching over Amy in the Pandorica? Like, I'm sure he slept around then, or did something. Who is he? Who is this guy? Is he like a lot more controlling and unfaithful than we think? Just portraying a faithful guy? How much is real in this relationship? Like, if we just look at this here, Amy looks sad. He looks like a dick. Just being like, yeah, my cock's the greatest cock ever, and Amy just looks trapped. I don't know, there are questions about Rory, and, you know, I love Rory, but, like, if there's a dark side to Rory that we've all just looked past because we focus on Amy trying to sleep with the Doctor, but, like, Rory probably tries to sleep with lots of people. Maybe there's lots of evidence for this. Maybe there fucking isn't. Maybe old people don't count to him, you know? He's doing them a favour in his mind. Like, when she reveals herself to be an alien, Rory's like you hear him being like, wow! Like, he's like, oh my god, that's what I've been having sex with? Like, Amy's concerned. He's like, Jesus, fuck! What have I been having sex with? Right, the next bit's a bit like, I'm gonna need to mention trans-panic defense things. I don't know, skip forward a bit if you want to skip me mentioning that. But, like, Rory is like, step aside, Amy, I'm killing this one. I'm sorry to bring up the trans-panic, it's not a fun thing to talk about, but, you know, the trans-panic defense where someone's like, oh, I realised they were trans and I panicked. So I killed them in my panic. Maybe that's the equivalent here, but this is the alien panic defense.
I'll deal with this one.
So this is not just Rory just being like, I can't do it. I love her. So I guess if he's fallen in love with her, then he's not just braggadocious. He's not just like, haha, yeah, my cock's so powerful. He's genuinely formed an intimate bond. Maybe Rory is just a beautiful guy, an adulterous beautiful guy, but that's the nature of both Amy and Rory. His problem is he loves too much. When the doctor says he can't feel his feet or other parts, he says that as if they're kind of unmentionables. I think these other parts, cock jokes aside, are his invisible arms. The Doctor is well established to have multiple arms, but it's interesting that he's secretive about it, Like, even from his best friends, he doesn't say that he's got more arms than they see. So the Doctor is aware of how the TARDIS changes everything. Like, the Time Lords look nothing like humans, and the TARDIS is just making Time Lords look like humans for us. And the Doctor's aware that humans are shaped how they are, and they have less arms than the Doctor. The TARDIS will localize stuff so that the Doctor has only 2 arms, which means that the Doctor has secret arms. What does the Doctor do with these secret arms? I guess they gotta be careful, because, I bet Capaldi stole that coffee with secret arms in Listen. But yeah, I think they probably are very careful how and when they deploy the arms, so that it can be like their secret weapon if they ever need it. Okay, given how many times Rory dies, you gotta ask, is this guy immortal? And if so, what can we tell about the immortality? Because, he dies in fake realities as well. It's like he's Final Destinationed himself, but also changed the entire universe so that he will never die. Presumably given his commitment to Amy with the Pandorica and guarding it. This is a guy who will change the absolute universe in order to be with Amy. Or is it in order for Amy to be happy? Did he do a Clara? And each of these are different Rorys, perhaps. He just keeps popping up in the time stream. I don't know, but I think he has changed time in some fundamental way, and that is why he is immortal. If time is an entity in Doctor Who, then so is death. Death itself is pissed off at Rory and is Final Destinationing him, punishing him for trying to establish any sort of immortality, even if it's the immortality of the one he loves. It could be the immortality of their relationship. I think maybe he's as I say, scattered his soul so that he's always there to save Amy, just like Clara. It is just like that. The thing that Clara jumps into is the Doctor's grave, so to speak. It's the scar tissue of a time traveller. Amy is a time traveller. Therefore, when Amy dies, Rory jumps into her time stream to save her a bunch, or something, somehow pissing off the actual entity death. And given how weird it is what time wants, it's so confusing what time actually wants in the Flux. So what does death want? Because you'd assume, death just wants to kill. But what if death is just enjoying the rhythm of killing Rory again and again? Maybe it's a bit like killing Jack. There's a sort of pleasurable sensation to just killing the same person again and again. It's a thrill you only get in a very few places, Death doesn't want people dead, but they love killing. Maybe they're just hooked on it. Maybe death and time and all the other things, maybe they all have a different sense of, maybe time's not the only thing, there's a planet time, there's a planet death, where death was harnessed. And before that, death just, what did death do? Because I don't think they were just reigning freely and just wanting no life at all. I think death wants life so that there can be death. Because there is no death without life. There's a question, why aren't they trying to get the old people to kill them with their gas? Why is crashing the car the thing that they clearly are trying to do and not trying to get killed by those old people? Are they really petty and just like, nah, if I don't win, well, at least you won't be the one to kill me, you know? I want the one to kill me to be me. It's like Steven Seagal, the only person to kill him in his own films is himself. That's how the Doctor lives. The Doctor is basically, if we're being honest with ourselves, let's take this rare moment to do that. The Doctor is basically Steven Seagal. The Doctor and Amy are Steven Seagal. The two parts of his soul, you know? You look into these eyes, you look into the eyes of Steven Seagal, as if Steven Seagal had bi-generated into these two. Wait, are you thinking what I'm thinking? What if Steven Seagal bi-generated into these two? That means that Steven Seagal is a Time Lord. Okay, this makes a lot of sense, because his slappy hands shouldn't be that effective. He's not that good at Aikido. Is he even doing Aikido? The fact that his slappy hands are so effective tells me that Steven Seagal, wait for it, he has hidden arms, just like the Doctor. Oh my god! Steven Seagal is an incarnation of the Doctor. And Steven Seagal was between Tennant and Matt Smith. A sort of Series 4B, or 4.5B, because presumably it'll be after the end of time. But yeah, maybe Steven Seagal is just the Doctor in a human suit, or something. They're the Doctor in a Seagal suit. You know how in The Matrix, Cypher's like, oh yeah, I want to be someone famous, like a movie star. Whatever you want, Mr. Reagan. And yeah, maybe the Doctor was like, I want to be a movie star. Or are we saying that just the character that Steven Seagal portrays in his movies, which is always the one character? Like, is that character basically the tales of the Doctor? Wait, Amy just said, I love Rory and I never told him. Girl, like, this is the extended day before your wedding and you've never told him you love him. Who are you? What are you? Like, I mean, you know, love's a confusing thing. What even is love? What does it mean to say that you love someone? It's a confusing thing to say and understand and whatnot. But maybe, just maybe, this is like pointing at a really core character trait of Amy, you know? Maybe there's like a coldness to her, that she's always just enjoyed the power over Rory. You never told him you loved him? It's the day before your wedding. What's going on? I mean, you know, it's entirely reasonable, I guess, for someone to say they don't love them but still marry them. But, like, it does imply at least the higher likelihoods that that person is a bit more coldly detached from you. I don't know. You never told him you loved him. It's just, what do you say to that? What does that mean? Like, I was suggesting that, you know, we focus on Rory being, like, the adulterer. But, like, I think they're both just, like, of the opinion that adultery is better than the alternative. You know, no consent between the parties. Just secrets. Maybe that's what they love. They love secrets. But why do they tell Mel's all that stuff? I don't know. There's something dark about Amy, and I don't know what it is. Okay, I think Amy is incredibly manipulative, and I do find her personality kind of off-putting. Maybe that's because I see into the soul of her, and there's something deeply off-putting about that. So I think she is very self-servingly manipulative. That's the true Amy. I think she lies to get what she wants. Like, of course, she's Ginger. Who else is Ginger? Who's the other Ginger companion? Don't say Donna, it's Turlo. And Turlo is shifty. She is the new Turlo. She is the shifty, untrustworthy one. I don't like how misogynist this sounds. Just Amy is the manipulative one. But I mean, especially Moffat's writing before series 10, like, it would not surprise me if that is just baked into the text, you know. She's looking at Rory as she holds his hand with the sort of look of an insect, a deadly insect, a big deadly insect who's caught her prey. Like, you know, this is a spider looking on at the fly in the web. She is terrifying. Maximum manipulativeness. If this isn't predator finding their prey and locking eyes with them with deadly intent, I don't know what is. Just that looking intently while like eyes are darting around. This is the capture of prey. She has the vision of a Venus flytrap. And like, I'm really only saying that she's doing to Rory what the Doctor's doing to her. In this way, she is quite a powerful reflection of the Doctor, you know? You find someone who you want to tag along with you and be impressed. It requires you manipulating them into the situation at least somewhat. I do not like the character of Amy, so I very much just want to change her in any way possible to make her more interesting. Her eyes are still locked on her prey, and her prey looks emptied out like a husk. Like she's a spider.
Imagination. I'll leave you to...
He's just like, oh, as if like she's the spider and she's like sucked out all his insides. Like, just the way she's looking at him, she's like, I have found someone who will die for me. I must capture this person and use them to defend me like a Pokemon. They are a conquest, just like a Pokemon is a conquest. You know, you don't win over Pokemon by being nice to them. You win them over by attacking them until they're almost dead, or hurting them in other ways. Like, she never told him she loved him. You'd think, like, if this manipulative stuff is true, she would have already said it. But, like, maybe she's not as conscious about how manipulative she's being. She's sort of subconsciously being like that, unable to accept that it is not love that binds her to Rory, but his usefulness to her. You know, Series 6 has a siren, but Amy Pond is the real siren. And who's the siren to this siren? It's the Doctor. It's siren upon siren. Like, I think ultimately it is an arrangement that they're all comfortable with. They all know that the Doctor is the siren who lures Amy in, and Amy is the siren who lures Rory in. And Rory's just entirely lured in. It's a dynamic that works for them all, I think. Wow, Amy is so reluctant to admit to Rory that she died for him, because that's his job. And he has broken down her defenses. She sees this as weakness. The fact that she would ever do what she's manipulating Rory into doing for her. Is he bending her will into love? Ah. I've linked in my Instagram bio and my YouTube videos a Palestinian charity you can donate to if you want to support me. Also, you can help me with subtitles, and that would be really helpful and make my videos more accessible. Just saying.